Hello, everybody. Welcome to our very first special episode of Where's the Call Sheet. It's January. You know, you're excited for your production year in 2023, but you got to remember your production year of 2022 as all these papers start showing up in your mailbox because you got to pay taxes or you're going to prison. So we're here with Melissa from Midwest Bookkeeping. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
I'm excited for you to come out and talk about probably like the sexiest topic in the world.
Yeah, taxes.
Woo, taxes.
And how to stay out of jail.
And how to say that's honestly the most
Only
important
for
part.
tax evasion. I can't keep you out of jail for anything else.
So like if I if I rob a bank, I can't call you and find a way to get out?
Well, we'd still have to claim that income, but yes.
That was seamless. You went right. That was perfect. Before we get into the episode, I just want to make it very clear. This is me talking to my accountant. This is not financial advice. This is not tax advice. This is simply a conversation, and anybody that is listening to this, whatever you take out of this is on you. We are not liable for anything that may happen in your taxes. If you go to prison, it's not our fault because you listen to this podcast. Just getting that out there right now.
Educational purposes only.
Yes, because it is an important topic.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think I've been doing like 3 years with you guys now, and then the years before that, I just did it myself with...
You winged it and you stayed out of jail.
I did, and somehow it worked, but then it hit a point where, I didn't think it was going to work anymore, and so I called you guys up. And
well, no, you started with your friends. And you said, friends, what do I do? And then they all say, well, we use a person. And you're like, who's that person? And it's me.
What's a Taylor Swift song? It's me. Hi.
It's me. Hi.
But you're not the problem. You guys
I'm
are
not
the
the problem. We are sometimes the solution.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Ideally, you're a solution.
Ideally.
But so, like, how important are taxes? Like, I know that seems like a very silly question, but, like, if you mess up your taxes, what realistically could happen to you?
And you never fix them?
Yeah, like, you just...
Okay. IRS isn't listening at this point. You hope that the IRS never finds out. Option 2, they send you a letter. And then you either agree or disagree with the letter. And maybe you probably just pay them more money. And then it goes away.
How much, like, is it like a late fee type thing? Like, you just gotta get a percentage tacked on? Or is there, like, a set number that this is what you have to pay?
You want me to nerd out hard on this one?
Oh, yeah. We nerd out on Where's the Call Sheet. That's the whole point.
So you've got underpayment penalties, you've got late payment penalties, you've got non-file penalties, and each one has a different percentage of what you owe. So it's not a lot, but it will rack up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like a headache, too. Like, it sounds like paperwork and a pain in the ass.
You get more mail than anything. I don't want to say just pay the money. Please review it. Please, agree with it, and then send them the money.
Yeah.
Because once you give them the money, they're done. They're happy.
Yeah, they just want their money.
They just want money.
But you can also just avoid that headache because obviously we're going to talk about freelancers and like, in this industry and whatnot. And money is precious because obviously like we don't have steady incomes. We don't, you can, when your money's coming, but it also could change on a dime and you might go through a slow period or not know where money comes. So having that extra money in your pocket is obviously incredibly beneficial to have. So rule number 1 right off the top, just pay. Whatever it is, just pay it because you're going to end up paying more down the line if you don't.
Well, rule number 1 is track your income and expenses so that you know where your money's come in and gone out. Then you want to save like 30% or so, just in case. And then hopefully you hire a professional, helps you get all your deductions, and then you pay what's left over.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, and taxes are confusing. I mean, they don't teach you it in school. It's not like I know there's programs out there that
I did go to school for it, but not your school.
I was going to say film school does not teach you how to track your taxes. It does not teach you how to file your taxes and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes, like, when I was doing them myself on the programs, like, the forms are confusing.
I hope they asked me the right question, and I hope I answered that correctly.
Right. And so, like, the first thing that I did, like, because Wayne was the one that recommended me to you guys, and I don't remember how much I was paying for a program to do it myself before, but when he told me that he went to you guys, I assumed that hiring an accountant was, like, going to cost me a lot of money.
Millions of dollars.
Right. I thought that I was going to have to take out a second mortgage just to get my taxes filed, but that's not necessarily the case in it. So, like, obviously we're going to talk about, like, tips and tricks of what to do, but from the beginning of this episode, so people don't think we're selling them on something that's going to cost them $10,000. Is there a range of like how much? I know it depends individually, but
yeah, it depends. If you're talking like the KC Metro market, you're probably looking at $300 to $800, depending on how many additional states you've got and how much additional work your accountant's going to have to get from you to do the stuff. I'm not buying Maseratis from your tax fee. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I wish you were, because Maseratis are cool, but at the same time, thank you for not charging an arm
right,
to
yes.
my taxes.
There are good tax preparers, there are bad tax preparers, and you just have to get the right vibe from the right person. And then hopefully, because we'll go through this list of what to look for. I've seen them all. I've seen bad self-prepared taxes. Oh, I've seen it.
Melissa's been through some stuff.
I've seen some stuff, and I've come out on the other side.
Yeah. So what are some of those things? Like, what is that when you're, because I obviously recommend you guys. A lot of people recommend you guys. A lot of people in the Kansas City production group, whatever, also go to you guys. But like, what are the things that make you better than someone, like the competition, whatever it is? Like,
well, okay. So for me personally, one of our mantras in the office is education. So I am typically getting probably 50 hours a year of continuing education. I also have my enrolled agent credential. I don't necessarily want to call it a license, but a credential, which allows me to practice before the IRS. So should you ever get to those stages where we're doing representation, I can go with you through the whole thing. I don't necessarily want you talking to the IRS, because usually the client messes it up harder than anything else. But you want to look for somebody who's got alphabet letters after their name, whether it's a CPA, whether it's an EA, whether it's an ATP or an ATA, RTRP. If you'd like for me, we can go through what each one of those mean.
I don't think we need to go that
blah,
far.
Blah, 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 alphabet letters. According to the IRS, you'd also like for them to have a PTIN number, which is a preparer tax identification number, meaning they're signing your tax return as a paid preparer. If they're not signing it and you're paying them, that's illegal in the eyes of the IRS. I think even TurboTax will say self-prepared via TurboTax. It will be listed. Please don't sign something if the person you're paying isn't signing it as well.
Yeah, that would be, basically, like, there are certain things that you can take shortcuts on in life to kind of relate to the film industry. There's certain pieces of gear that you can buy. You don't have to buy the name brand, fancy, expensive thing. You can get away with this. Taxes is not one of those. Do not go to the guy that's doing the $50 special. Do not go to the company that is offering some like weird incentive to jump with them. Go with a real professional. Go with someone that's got references, that has credentials, that has, an entire resume of like, hey, we've been in business for this long. Like, a legitimacy around them is step one.
And ask them what type of client they work with. You are not interested in going to somebody who only does farms. I personally do not do farms because I don't know, like your camera equipment, I don't know what any of the words mean. And so I'd have to ask you additional questions. But farms are a whole different animal. Small business is where I live. I also live in the real estate. So if you've got rental properties and such like that, we can talk about that all day long. There are other tax preparers that are only interested in doing lower income, earned income credits for people in that realm. And then there are other people who are only interested in corporate tax returns and partnerships and stuff like that for large mega companies in the multi-millions of dollars. So each tax preparer will have their own niche, just like you guys. You're either, insert whatever term you guys use here. You each do your own things in a specific way, and so that's what you become known for, just like us over here on our side.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. So I'm coming to you for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, hey, get my taxes filed. What is step one in this relationship? What is the process like?
You tell me you have a lot of money to pay me, and I say, great. No, I'm just kidding. I ask you, do you have your books and records? And you say,
I'll tell you what I said. I went, what's a book and record?
What's books and records? And I follow up with, have you tracked your income and tracked your expenses? Yeah. Is it in Excel? Is it on paper? All these, is it subtotaled? Oh, I'll do it this week and I'll get back with you. Solid. And sometimes you call back, sometimes you don't. I can also give you subscription-based free products, that will help you ease this burden. So we go through basic bookkeeping skills and tips and tricks. Ideally, if you've got a small business, you've got a separate bank account strictly for this business. It can be a second checking account. It doesn't matter to me. Just something completely separate from your day-to-day life that only runs business information through it. You can also have a credit card, whether it's in your own personal name or the business name. Just keep it separate. And then that will help you track and trace those items through the year. And then if you'd like for it to be automated, I'm going to plug a website here, wave.com. Wait, Wave Apps? We're going to have to look that one up.
We'll look it up and I'll link it in the thing.
Waveapps.com.
Waveapps.com?
I want to go with Wave Apps. It's free.
I'm going to look it up just to double check. But
is it Wave Apps? Wave Apps.
I know it's Wave, but is it waveapps.com?
I think it's waveapps.com.
That one?
That one. It's a beautiful...
Manage your money like a boss.
Boom.
Boom. Waveapps.com. We'll put that link in the description.
Yeah, it's a good one. So it'll link to both your credit card and your checking account. And it will filter in all of the income and expenses. And then all you have to do is label what category those are. Income from the state of Missouri, income from the state of Kansas, subscriptions, equipment I purchased, professional fees to your lovely accountant, and so on and so forth. Includes interest if you pay interest on a credit card. It is deductible, which is generally question number 2. What can I write off on my business? What's a deduction? Any ordinary and necessary expense for your business is a deduction, as long as it's not a fine, a bribe, or a penalty.
Fine, bribe, penalty.
That's it. I mean, like, if you bought Starbucks because you were on the job and you wanted a cup of coffee, it's a deduction. Was it, did you have to have it? No, but was it necessary? Absolutely.
Because you need the caffeine?
You need caffeine. If you needed to go buy some more plugs or cables or some things, great. I know, it's so embarrassing for everybody in that industry that's like, oh, Melissa.
We'll teach you what
she
plugs
doesn't
are.
know.
We'll teach you what plugs and whatnot are. We'll get you there. We'll have you out. Maybe you can like AC on some stuff. Maybe become a gaffer. We'll see if you like lighting or directing.
So I'll quit my current job and just go work with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. We're always looking for new people. It's kind of my thing is to get people to quit their jobs and like join the industry. I did that. Well, Wayne was already in the industry, but I got him to quit and go freelance. I made Isaiah go. There's a couple others that come to mind. So Brittany, my girlfriend, I got her to. I didn't get you to quit. You just didn't go into the job that you were supposed to have. So I'm the champion of that. But no, I want to keep you as an accountant as long as you're happy there.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been great over time. So like hypothetically, I'm trying to book a client. I take them out to PF Chang's and my bill comes out at $250. Is that something you can write off? If I have to drive 2 hours to get to a job and paid X amount in gas, can I write off the gas?
It depends.
Ooh, okay.
This is the ultimate accountant answer. It depends. So for mileage, driving is a whole different animal than just normal regular expenses. Always track your expenses. Ideally, most people are using like Mile IQ. There are hundreds of other mileage apps. Please just pick one, stick with it, use it. It's going to be good. You always need to track your mileage, regardless if you're using mileage rates or actual rates. So if you're using actual, then yes, your gas is a direct expense. So is your oil change, so is your new tires, insurance on the car itself, anything and everything that goes into the car. That would be an actual expense. If you're just taking mileage, because it's like, we're going to have to look this up too. 56 cents a mile or 66 cents a mile right now.
Because it changes.
It changes every single year, and I always look it up because I'm not interested in memorizing that. You can get 66 miles per year, and that takes care of the depreciation or the insurance or the tires or the oil or the gas. So we look at both of those each year, and we determine at the beginning which one's going to be a better deduction for you over the life of the vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, more of the story is that anything that it takes to run your business, no matter how small it is,
pennies,
you can write it off.
Absolutely.
Because I know I've talked with other people, and this was news to me when I started doing all this too. They weren't writing anything off, and their tax bills were massive. They did not throughout the year save the 30% or pay quarterly or whatever you're supposed to do, and they got hit with a massive tax bill at the end. But then I would ask about like, well, did you write off your home office? Because I know that you have an editing suite at your house that you work in regularly. Did you write off, all of the like? You hired X amount of people out to come do X amount of jobs and you paid them X amount of dollars. Did you deduct that? No, we didn't. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, here's Melissa.
Yes, call Melissa.
Right. I mean, there's a million things. We could literally probably talk for hours of all the things that you could deduct.
Yeah.
But that's something that they can talk with you. And you guys have all the forms and whatnot that say what all these things are. And they ask, hey, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this?
Yeah, we have a general template on the website if you'd like to download it. One of the last pages deals with small business. Not all the categories will fit your needs, but It's meant to hit every industry, so to speak. But yes, if you are doing contractors, please, for the love of all baby Jesus, get a W-9 before you pay them, because you have to 1099 them at the end of the year. And in order to do that, you got to know their information. If you don't get their information, it's going to be very difficult for me to say, yes, you shall deduct this. Because if I don't got their information, how do we prove to the IRS that you did it?
Yeah, I mean, I've run into problems with that in the past because I've hired people out a million times. And they'll send me their quote, and I'll respond with, cool, W-9, get you paid within 30 days, whatever it is. And they never send me the W-9, and so I don't send them the money, and then the due date of what they're expecting passes, and they get mad at me, and it's like, look, like, I've done this in the past and gotten burned, so from here on out, I'm not doing this. Until I get your W-9 and your invoice, you will not be seeing any money.
Can we, like, insert applause for you right here?
Cheesy sound effects, yay! That was something that you guys taught me.
Yeah.
Because I had people that were, like, legitimately mad at me about that, but the year prior, I had not done that, and I got hit with tax bills for all these other people's money, and therefore, you know. And
they magically don't call you back in December and January. Right. They just avoid your phone calls.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, maybe it's March. Okay, I think I can talk to him again.
I think enough time.
I think taxes are done.
Yeah.
We'll take those jobs.
Yeah. We'll take more money now, please.
Take more money now.
Thank you.
But yes, gosh, get those W-9s. It is just the easiest thing for you to fix, short of other than tracking your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know tracking is a big thing because I was bad at that at the beginning too. I was very unorganized. You know, tax season hit, and I just sat there. I'm like, oh crap! Now I have to go back through every single shoot I've ever done, plus all this paper like 1099s and W-2s that I've accumulated throughout the years, and figure out how much I made because I don't even know how much I made this year. So I know that staying organized, it seems silly. It seems like something you don't want to do, but it saves you a massive headache and potentially a lot of money at the end of the year.
Yeah, because then you know where your money went, and then you know what you can write off.
Right.
Because if you don't remember, you're not taking it.
Well, it's also just a good like financial budgeting strategy because if you're just at the end of the year looking at your banking account, being, oh, I have this much in there. Like what could you have cut out? What did you improperly spend money on throughout the year that you could like get rid of? Like maybe I don't need Dairy Queen 3 times a week.
Oh, see, I always get I owe $6,000. I only have $500 in my trading account. How am I supposed to pay this? Like, you overspent.
Yeah.
You spent the government's money at this point.
And the government doesn't like that.
And unfortunately, I don't help you pay those bills. I just tell you the answers, and then I send you home with a box of Kleenex to cry. Because the rule in our office is there's no crying in the office. We hang up, and then you can do whatever
afterwards. Oh, that's so good.
Just so mean.
Well, and now you guys, because I remember we used to have to come in and we would have like consultations and stuff. Do you guys still do the face-to-face, or is it all remote now?
I can do a Teams meeting. You can stay in your pajamas because it's only from like up here, camera up.
I mean, I'm in shorts right now, and it's 20 degrees outside, so the Teams meetings all
Teams
day.
Meetings.
Although I hate Microsoft Teams.
I'll do a Zoom. Do you want Zoom?
We can Zoom. Zoom is much better.
So difficult.
Well, I write off the Zoom subscription, so like
I provide you the Teams, so you don't even have to own it. You just have to click a link.
I know. I was just trying to make a plug about like deductions.
Yes. If you do own Zoom and you'd like to Zoom me to justify the deduction, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean that's why I have like the highest package of Zoom for that reason. I was like, wait, I can write this off. Like, oh my gosh, I don't need this, but I'm gonna get
absolutely.
This. Just kidding. I don't have the highest. I think I have the second highest, but whatever.
Do you buy it annually for the discount?
I believe so, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I always buy annually. And then I forget to cancel the subscription if I don't need it, and I overspend there. But I digress. So how does the process work? So how does it work if you were to be a client for mine? Yeah, like how do I get you the stuff that you're asking for?
Well, first we have a discovery meeting to see if I like you.
Hopefully.
No, first we have a meeting to discuss what your needs are, because even though we're talking about small business, it's possible that what you're asking is beyond the scope of my skills. And I will be the first person, and any professional accountant should be the first person to let you know that they are not capable of handling your account, and then refer you on to somebody who can. If they go, I think I can do that, I'd like you to take pause and really ask them more questions, because the last thing you want to do, because again, you're signing this tax return. This is your word to the IRS that what you put on this paperwork is true and accurate, and then you sent it off. So if you don't even trust the person you're hiring, on that one.
Yeah.
So first we discuss what's involved in your account. And if I say, great, that's something I can normally do, no big deal, I sort of give you a roundabout quote. And then I tell you that I'm going to create a client portal for you so that you can upload your prior year's data. If your tax preparer also doesn't ask to see your prior year's data, I would also be a little concerned for you because as a small business owner, you have things that flow from year to year. You have things that flow from year to year, just so you know.
I didn't know that for a while.
You're welcome.
But now I do.
You do. Things flow year to year. So if you don't have last year's data to import or to use as a reference, then you might be missing some of those depreciations that are rolling forward. If they don't ask, you need to make sure that they're getting it. So I ask for prior year's data, and then I also ask for any and all documents that say important tax document, as well as any and all of your books and records. Ideally, it's in Wave, and then you just send me a link to go look at it as well. And then we review it. I go through it. If anything pops out for me that seems weird or unusual or suspect, I reach back out to you and I say, hey, what's all of this about? So we have a conversation. If your accountant is not asking you questions about what you did, especially in your particular case, because you're a small business owner, you might think I'm a rock star, but you could also just think maybe they just didn't care or do all the rest of it. There's bound to be at least one question, whether it's, did you give me all your mileage? Did you give me all your deductions? Did you give me all your 1099s? Did you give me this? Or are you interested in doing this particular tax strategy? There's a question somewhere. Number one thing I ask you, hey, do you contribute to your Roth IRA? Hey, are you interested in maybe opening up an I-401k for retirement savings? And most of the time I get shut down of, I have to pay more money now. And then I say, no, but you should want to do these things. And then we proceed. We finish up the tax return. It gets finalized. I send it to you for signatures. You go, holy shit, Melissa, this says $6,000 and I only budgeted $3,000. What the hell happened? We have a follow-up meeting. We go line by line saying, hey, did you know you made $50,000 more this year? And you go, oh, yeah.
Wait, I made more money, so now I have to pay more taxes?
And then I follow up with, and did you still want to do any of these retirement accounts to maybe help reduce that tax liability because we still have time? Let me think about it. 3 days later, you go, nope, I'm cool. I'll just pay for it. I send you the signatures. You sign for it. You pay for it. Then we submit it to the IRS. And then ideally by April, you have paid that bill. But what you do after we're done is on you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you guys aren't there like every day, every step of the way, holding your hand like, hey, like maybe do this, maybe do this.
I can tell you how to do it, but I can't force you.
Right.
Then if whatever happens throughout the year and you maybe do get a fun, nice letter from the IRS or the state of Missouri or insert revenue division here, you go, hey, Melissa, I got this letter. And I say, great. What's it say? What I really mean is just give me a copy of it because I don't want you to actually read it to me. Dated July 29, 1662. No, just give me a copy. I'll read through it really quick and I'll say what happens next. And then you go, cool, thanks for having my back. And you move on with your day. So we're here year round. Ideally find somebody who's there year round. Because things happen year round. The other thing that I'm a big proponent of is, should you have a banner year, come talk to me before the year is over.
What's a banner year, just so people know what that is?
Banner year meaning you doubled your revenues, or you have this killer contract that's paying you right before your year is over, and maybe do people pay you guys in advance or always in
Sometimes
arrears?
it depends. Sometimes you get paid up front. Sometimes you get paid half up front. Sometimes you only get paid on the back end. So
Okay.
It really just depends on the client.
Okay. So sometimes a client will get paid early and maybe they haven't gotten all of the expenses attributed to this job finished yet. So now you've got a whole bunch of income in year one, but expenses are coming out in year two. What do I do? Because you're paying tax on this income because you've received it.
Right.
Oh, I should also say, you guys are all cash basis taxpayers. When you receive the money is when you include this in your income. For the most part.
Yeah, because I know I had some stuff that, like, I did the job at the very end of December, but I didn't get paid till January, so it's a different game. Again, all reasons why to talk to a human and not deal with a robot and try to deal with it yourself online.
Or say, I think this is right. Click yes.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
What did that button do?
Yeah.
Ooh, we didn't like that. Let's go back and change that answer.
Yeah, what's a deduction?
Oh, yeah, your cat's not a deduction. Your dog is not a deduction. The turtles in this tank, not a deduction. No. I'm really, really sorry.
But they're cute.
They are adorable.
Well, the light's off, so you can't really see
as long as they stay in the tank.
Yeah, they stay in the tank. They have a divider because they actually like to fight each other. So they're brothers. Or actually, they're both girls, so they're sisters. And I had to separate them because they wanted to kill each other.
That's what sisters do.
I know, right? It's just crazy. But they see each other through the
bars.
Yeah, through the bars, through the prison cell because they didn't pay their taxes.
They didn't pay their taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a boring topic. It's a topic that nobody wants to talk about.
What?
I'm talking about from my end.
Oh,
it's
from
not
your
a
side.
boring topic.
It's
like
scary, I think.
Right. People just don't know.
They just don't know.
Like it's like the forms are formatted weird. It's like. I don't know when the government made them, but like they made them.
They didn't consult me either.
Right. They made it very un-eye appealing. They made it very confusing. And there's some stuff that like I think these two lines are the same thing, but like obviously they're different because they're on two separate lines. So it's just easier to go with somebody who knows what they are doing and has all of the alphabet letters after the name as you do.
I like hearing that's your take on taxes. There's just forms. And they say things.
I know it's more than forms, but like at the end of the day, like. I can make a spreadsheet. I can do all the things that you want me to do. I can track my money. I can do all that stuff. But then when it comes time to actually implementing that so that the IRS doesn't come after you, that's where it like kind of it gets scary and weird because we're kind of being a little over dramatic about going to prison and stuff like that. But like if you put something on the wrong line, you could get a bill in the mail. And an unexpected bill as a freelancer is not something that you want.
And for the most part, what typically happens is taxpayers see those notices and they're like, the IRS is out to get me. I'll just pay them the money.
Right.
So sometimes the IRS gets it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anybody's, thoughts on government and stuff being perfect. They get it wrong.
Yeah. So many of my listeners think the government is absolutely perfect.
They get it wrong. So, having somebody reviewing those things and being your advisor in your corner, it has value and it gives you comfort, and then you can sleep well at night.
Yeah, well, I know I sleep well at night.
Every night. Because you have like 600 thread count sheets.
Yeah, basically. We're just living like kings out here in Parkville. So, oh man, I had a really good question. I totally just lost it. Oh, okay. So here's my question. This is kind of just me being, not an accountant, being kind of naive and stupid. But when the IRS does send you stuff,
there are no stupid questions.
Just stupid people.
I didn't say that, but
well,
I do enjoy everybody's like stupid questions. Number one, they're unique and nobody has ever asked this before, so it's terrifying.
Keep you on your toes.
It's literally like I've heard it six times this week. We've heard it all, so just go ahead and
ask away.
Ask away.
So how? Okay, so I file my taxes. I think I'm doing it right. The IRS disagrees with me and sends me a bill. How in the world does the IRS know when they're not the ones that are sending me the initial bill that's like, hey, this is how much we saw your year this year, this is how much you made, this is the bill. Like, why do we even have to file taxes when the IRS could double check us, but what are they double checking?
Just so you know, I had this question over the weekend. It's a great question though. So you are different because you're a small business owner.
Yeah.
What they know is your income sources. So they know you received, and for you, you receive like $600 million a year in income. Typically.
Oh, we're like 1.2 billion this year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So they know based on all the 1099s that were submitted on your behalf from the people who paid you, they know all of those add up to the $600 bazillion. And I forgot we were at because you're so rich.
I forget too all the time.
So rich.
Oh, hang on, I forgot about a yacht. We're up to $2 billion now.
Yeah. So they know that you've made XYZ dollars, and from those dollars they're really just taking the income. And then from there, they're extrapolating and they're like, oh, based on this, with no deductions, you owe me half $500 million. And you go, cool, thanks, IRS. It's a little bit easier with a regular wage job where all of your income is there and you don't have deductions because you're just an employee at that point. So those people, I'm not telling you not to file, but I'm telling you the IRS knows more about them than they do you.
Right, it's more concrete.
Yeah, because you have deductions that they don't know about because they're not tracking your expenses yet.
Yeah. Digital dollar.
With all of those, however many, 187,000 new IRS employees, now they're going to trace you.
Well, now that we're talking about it, I'm definitely getting audited. But it's still fun because I'm good. I promise you, I'm good. I do not hide money.
That's why I make you sign that letter that says everything you gave me was true as well, so that it releases my...
releases your name.
I only use the data you provided. So, if you're going down, suck it.
Thank you. I'll call you from jail.
I don't accept those calls, though.
Well, cool. I just won't talk to anybody. It'll be good. I'll just rot. It's fine.
I think you have other friends that might like you a little bit more to take those phone calls. I mean, I like you enough, but
not to bail you out of prison.
Not the jail phone calls. That is one area I don't actually represent as the folks in jail. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You might be. I mean, do you want to be the first?
I mean, it'd be kind of fun to be like the prototype. I'll be like the beta test? Is that what it's called? Or is there an alpha test first?
I don't do computer science.
I don't either.
I just use Excel.
I don't even use Excel. I use Instagram and Facebook. Like, that's my extent of computer science.
You use Google Sheets or whatever.
Well, yeah, but I struggle through it, and you've seen my formats on all my stuff, and it sucks.
Yeah. Oh, can I tell you one of my Excel pet peeves?
Yeah, of course.
When you have a running total and you want to sum it, and then they just hard code the number instead of just letting Excel sum it.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what
I know
you.
I'm not saying you do it. I'm just saying it happens on spreadsheets.
So if that's you,
please stop.
Yeah, just don't.
Like, let the system help you.
Yeah.
Help you. Help you. That wasn't the right phrase.
Help you, help me.
Let them help
stay
you.
Out of prison?
Help.
Just don't hard code the numbers, whatever
Dear
that
God,
means.
please don't hard code the numbers.
What is hard coding? Now I'm curious.
I mean, all these 15 numbers add up to 100, and you just type in the word 100, as opposed to letting it sum to 100.
Gotcha. Okay, so don't do the math yourself. Let the program do the math.
Right, because humans aren't good at math.
No, I suck at math. I had a TI-83 my entire life.
It
was a TI-84. That's how shows you how bad I am.
I just use like Casio, whatever the solar power. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, the old school, the ones that the one that'll survive cockroaches even.
Yeah, as long as you got the sun, it'll turn on.
There you go. Well, sun, please don't turn out.
Right, not today though.
So I mean, again, it sounds like it sounds more intimidating than it actually is working with an accountant. Yeah. Especially when you think about the alternative is sitting there at a computer and doing it all yourself and figuring out what these terms and forms and all that kind of stuff.
So here, I'll give you this thing. Somebody's going to ask, why should I hire an accountant? So if you were to do your taxes, how many hours would it take you to do it?
A lot. I can tell you firsthand, it took me, I can't say an exact number by any means, but it was multiple days, a couple hours a day.
And what do you bill on a job? I mean, you don't have to give an answer, but like, think this through. If you're billing, if this is preventing you from working and making money, why would you not hire this out?
Right. Well, and even like, even if you're not turning down work for it, like if you work 12 hours a day, you don't want to come home and do taxes for 3 hours. You want to.
I don't even want to do taxes after 12 hours. Of working.
Yeah. Like, no, hard pass on that. So like, it's another one of those where you just let a professional handle it. And again, like we talked about, at the top, it's not $1 million. No. We're talking, what, you say 3 to 8, 3 to a grand somewhere, just depending on who you are. Like it's like, because I got paid, I think it was like 7 states last year. So like,
7 states makes it a little bit more complicated.
Right, like that makes it more complicated, and therefore your job is hard, so therefore you charge a little bit more. But someone that's generally just working in Kansas and Missouri, that number's going to stay on the lower end of that. So it's not that much money. I don't know how much the programs cost, but I think it's a couple $100.
If you were to hire TurboTax Live, and for 1 or 2 states, you're easily spending $500.
Yeah, and those are great for people like you said that they have the same amount of money that comes in their check every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like the very rudimentary, this is how it is, cut and dry. Those are great for those people, but we're not those people.
No, and the good news if you work with a professional, they're going to know who you are every year. They're going to ask you those probing questions. They're going to remember things about you. Oh yeah, and did you do the thing we talked about? And you say, oh yes, I did, because you're a good taxpayer.
Yeah,
you took the advice.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, one of the last things that I want to talk about, just the big one that kind of, again, relates to people and what some people don't realize, and please correct me if I'm saying stuff that's wrong, but to my understanding, you hit toward the end of the year, and if you're tracking your numbers correctly, you know roughly how much taxes you're going to have to end up paying, in that last quarter. I have X amount of dollars that I have to pay in taxes. I can go out and buy a piece of gear and deduct some of that money, correct? Instead of paying that money to the government. So, like, you're going to spend the money one way or another.
Yeah.
Is that something that you can do? Because people talk about this, but I don't know if it's 100% true, if it's one of those,
but... true? Yes. Buying stuff is a deduction. Is it the best use of the money, though? That becomes a judgment call.
Right.
Like, I would prefer for you to keep the most amount of money in your pocket. Because, again, you have to eat and you have to live and you got to pay rent and you got to do all these things. So, do you want to use all of your money buying cool stuff? Maybe. Do you want to use some of it to live and eat well? Ideally. Do you want to save some of it for the future? Maybe. I don't know. Will we all be cyborgs by the time we get to whatever age?
See, money might not even exist.
Money might not exist. Not a plug for crypto.
No, I hate crypto. I hate crypto so much.
Yes, crypto makes taxes more complicated too.
Oh, yeah.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
Can I be mean to the crypto bros?
Yeah, because I'll be mean right after.
I hope they're really enjoying this past year.
Yeah. I hope they are too. I hope they're chilling in their
cardboard boxes
and they're, just watching it all go away. I mean, like, to me, and this is just going to go conspiracy, it might get cut out. You might disagree with me.
No, we can cut it out.
Crypto is nothing more than government paying ransoms to other governments. That's all that it is. It's an untrackable way to pay money that you owe to somebody else that gets inflated, and then all of a sudden, now it's not worth anything, so you didn't actually spend anything. That's my theory.
Well, but you spent things because you bought into it.
But you bought in low, and then if
Did you?
Well, I didn't because I didn't buy any of that stuff.
Oh,
but
okay.
like in my opinion, someone or some entity or some government owed someone else a lot of money. They paid them in a small amount of money buying into crypto early, inflated it, which we know markets can be very easily manipulated. Now it's worth all this money. Here's your money, and then all of a sudden, when you pull out, now it's not worth anything anymore. Mm-hmm. I think it's nothing more. It's mob type stuff, is what it is.
Some people call it Ponzi schemes.
Ponzi schemes, yeah. Same, yeah. Just my personal opinion.
I do feel bad for the people that fell into the hype.
I don't.
I feel a little bit bad because they were just uneducated and they got taken and they didn't have the money in the first place. It's just bad gambling.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what it boils
down. I know a
down
couple
to.
People that got in early and are like till I die kind of people, and they're now it's switched to wait 20 years.
Yeah.
Call me in 20 years. Like, well, I'll enjoy my money now. You can wait 20 years for your money to come in. Take your pick.
Yeah, I'm never going to advise you to invest in crypto. No. What I will say is you can do your retirement accounts, though. So I'm going to plug your I-401ks or your SEPs or your Roths or your just traditional IRAs. We'll talk about those ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Puppy dog.
Yeah, there's our dog working. First one. I'm surprised, actually.
They did so well.
They did.
But yeah, because I want you to pay yourself first, future you first. Then we buy all the cool stuff for the business, and then we also make sure that you've got enough money to live on at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, retirement is something that freelancers don't think about because our industry specifically is very, like, a 1 month is about the bandwidth that people can look at when it comes to that kind of stuff. And, one day you're not going to be able to carry the camera on your shoulder. One day you're going to be, too old to do whatever, or like physically unable for whatever reason.
Meat bag?
Yeah, we taught Melissa what a meat bag was, and one day you're not gonna be able to be a meat bag anymore. You won't get paid to be a meat bag. So it's one of those that it sounds silly when you're 24, 25, 26, or whatever. I don't need retirement. That's 50 years away or 40. I don't remember what retirement age is. But it's important because camera operators, like, I hold very heavy cameras on my shoulder. I'm going to require a very major surgery at some point in my life. Every camera operator who has ever lived that does what I do gets it. So I'm going to require a surgery, which is going to, one, take me out of the game for a little bit, but it's also going to, like, shorten, like, when I can go, and it's going to come a point where that repair isn't going to hold anymore, and I'm not going to be able to do what I do in the capacity that I do it, at least. So, like, what is your fallback? What is your nest egg? What is what you're going to live the rest of your life? Because I'm not going to hold a camera until the day I die.
But for retirement, retirement is important because you're right. One day you are not going to be able to do your job and you need something to fall back on. Ideally, some people do real estate. They buy real estate on the side. Some people put it in the stock market. I can't tell you which one you should do, but you get to make the choice. And working with a professional helps guide you in those choices and helps give you advice to timing of some of those things. Like, yeah, buy the house, or maybe wait to buy the house next year, or once you have the house, maybe sell it in 2 years, or go live in it and manipulate the tax code to your benefit.
Right.
Because again, I spend an obscene amount of time dorking out on the tax code so you don't have to.
Yeah. And that's time that you can be doing other things that you are related to the business to grow your business, and then send that money all the way and go there.
Right. Because you do what you do, I do what I do, and everybody then lives in happy land.
Perfect harmony.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's definitely a beauty, and again, this can relate to the film industry, that, you know, people get specialized and do one job very well, and it's good to build a team up that you can let everyone excel, instead of just like, oh, well, I'm a cinematographer, but I'm also a semi-accountant. Like, no, I'm going to screw up at some point, and it's not going to
because when you spread yourself too thin, you're just not good.
Right.
At all.
Especially, like, crossing, like types of businesses, like the film industry and accounting. Like, the skills don't necessarily translate one-to-one.
What?
Maybe they do. I don't know. For you, maybe. Not for me. I couldn't do accounting.
I can't do reds or scorpions or whatever.
Can't do reds or scorpions. It's really easy. You hit the red button on the side of it and it records.
Okay, cool.
And then if you're on the right shoot, everyone else will actually do stuff for you, because your gaffer will light it, your AC will pull your focus.
I don't know what any of those words
You don't have to. You just have to show up and push the button.
I just see them on the credits.
And you go, good job, guys.
I don't know what that is. So my biggest pet peeve is, like, I always get the guy at the end of the year just like, dude, I made so much money. Should I go buy a truck? Or for you, should I go buy this big camera? Do you need the camera? Is it going to further the business? Can you rent it out? Can you profit from it? If you can't say yes to it, probably not. Last year, you could eat all your meals were 100% deduction. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, I should just like buy food for everybody all the time. I'm like, you're literally eating your profits. Is that what you want to do? And then you have to sit back and you think, no, I don't like my friends that much. They can buy their own food. And you're like, great.
They can buy their own food and they can write it off themselves. Like, it's not like, you know, like...
because all your friends are self-employed.
Right. Well, okay. I'm not saying all my friends are, but like, you know, like it's... When you're talking to film people, like, that is very much what they go, oh, I made X amount of dollars, I'm going to go buy this big fancy camera. It's like, okay, well, but like, you have to look at the business ad. I got ripped for that, actually, for saying some stuff to some people that, like, there's a camera that came out that I'll save you the boring details just because it won't...
Is it a color?
It's called an Airy. It's German. It's not a color, but they are blue. Anyways, there's a camera that came out that the price point just didn't make sense. Like, it just didn't. And I talked about that publicly on the internet, and people bashed me because they thought I was bashing the tech. And it's like, no, guys, like, there's an entire side of this business that you are completely excluded. It's like $130,000 when it's all said and done.
So, like, pocket change.
Exactly. And so it was one of those that, like, yeah, you can buy it. And like, well, but it's a write-off. It's like, it is, but like, does the write-off outweigh
justify everything else?
Same thing with food. It's like, you could take all your friends out to dinner all you want to, but like,
or you could eat peanut butter and jelly and keep the rest of the money
and save a ton of money. And you know what? Then maybe you could buy that big camera because you have a lot of exposable income and you saved up and did it correctly.
Yeah.
So there's an entire side of the business. I know you guys will help everybody out with that. But it's about being smart, and a lot of people hit the ground running and they take out a lot of money, whether it's loans or credit cards, and spend and spend and spend and spend, and they don't necessarily
have anything to show for it.
Right, they don't have the plan, and they don't have anything to show for it. Like, spending $150,000 a year to make $152,000 a year doesn't make any sense. You know, like, that's not smart business, and you're going to eventually be working a job where you get the same check every 2 weeks and doing that kind of stuff.
And then you're going to say to me, I don't have any money to pay any of these other bills. And I'll say, tough.
Sorry.
I mean, based on the figures you gave me, this is the answer. Numbers, you know, math doesn't lie.
Numbers are finite. They don't lie. They are what they are. And it all starts with accounting. You know, like, the stuff that you need to track and all that kind of stuff, you helping people, whatnot. That is where all businesses start, and really where they all end, because if you don't listen or you don't think properly, your business will no longer exist. So it's a scary world, but it doesn't have to be if you trust the right people.
Right. And if you don't trust the person you call the next guy.
please call the next
Please
guy.
call a guy.
Not with me personally, but there are horror stories out there of people getting scammed out of money and
Yeah.
screwed over and get hit with some of these
Yeah.
IRS bills and whatnot. So,
Oh, yes. If an IRS person calls you and they want you to pay via like Walmart gift card or insert name of gift card here, they're not real.
yeah, the government doesn't send someone to your door either. Well, they might eventually, but
Okay, I was
at the
gonna say-
beginning, no.
Yeah,
they will
no,
not.
they're just going to paper you with mail
Yeah.
for like 2-ish years.
Yeah.
And if you continue to ignore it, then yes, you might get a knock from a TIGTA IRS agent. They do carry guns, so they do look real, and they will show you their badge. But, you know, a normal Joe Schmo just isn't going to say, hey, meet me in the back parking lot and give me some Chipotle gift cards. That's not how it goes.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of people were like worried when the IRS thing got announced with the 80,000 whatever new people, and they thought that there was going to be this like special forces unit that was going to knock on everyone's door that
Absolutely.
had back taxes. That's not realistic. That's not what it is. Like, yeah, there's some stuff that might go on that like we can not put on this podcast, but they're not going to send a military militia unit after you. They're going to send you letters until you ignore them for long enough. And then you know what? Then maybe someone is going to not break down your door, but like
They'll knock gently.
They'll knock gently until you are an asshole to them, and
But
then maybe
then,
they'll escalate.
but then they've also sent you a letter telling you they're going to come by too.
Right. Hey, just so you know, we're
Just
going
so
to
you know,
be
we're
there on
coming by.
Tuesday at 4:00.
No, seriously, that's like
Yeah.
really what the letter will say.
I know people that have gotten them. Not me, but I know people that have gotten them. I know it's...
Do not pass my name along to those people.
I will not.
Thank you.
I promise you, I will not. I will not do that. But yeah, it's again, and I feel like we're, saying the same thing just a million different ways.
Hitting it over and
Yeah.
it's going to resonate with somebody in some way. The way we just keep talking about it. Hire out. Hire a personal trainer if you need to get fat to flab to fit. I hire a personal chef right now. They just bring me food every week and I just microwave it. I don't know. I mean, like everybody always asks, like, how do I find a quality tax pro? The number one thing that I found is you ask your friends, because especially if your friends are in a similar business as you. Odds are one of those friends, Wayne, has a person and they like them and they've pre-vetted them. So then that gives you the leg up because there is however many tax preparers in the world. You don't know which one's good. So you ask your friends. But you need to trust the person that you're going to because they know a lot about you. You want to keep going back to this person so that you keep building that relationship and then you can keep getting information and strategies from them because that's the only way to help beat the system legally. Because my job or my goal is for you to pay the least amount of taxes legally possible. Legally.
Yeah, it's all within
Legally
the tape. Everything's all
possible.
within the tape. There are laws and there are rules and there are things that people have been manipulating for years, decades, centuries, whatever. And if the really rich people can do it,
why
can't we? So it's the same thing. Like it blew my mind with like go back to the deductions type stuff, like just what you can write off and what you can't. I would never know that I could write off part of my mortgage because I use a room in my house as an office, and I'm in there a lot. I wouldn't have known that. And I know people, I've talked to people that don't know that. So like it's finding the ways to put more money in your pocket so that your business can flourish and live.
Yeah, your office in the home works because of your particular tax situation. So you do need to make sure because odds are somebody's going to come up to me and say, well, I'm an LLC. Pet peeve number insert 67,000. LLC is just a legal designation for the state that you live in. It's not a taxing one.
Yeah.
So just by having an LLC doesn't like make you invincible or anything else like that. Buying the LLC fee is a deduction, just so you know.
Right off.
But it doesn't. Because you can be taxed in a multitude of different ways, and that's the other reason. Because you talk to a pro, if you start to make your millions and billions of dollars, they're going to put you in a different entity than the one you might be in today. Because each one has pros and cons and will save you taxes in different ways.
And that's why we talk
That's
to our
why we
tax
talk to our
professional.
person.
That's why you talk. And it's a relationship that is, you build it. Like you don't want to jump from tax person year to year. Like you want to get someone that you can work with long term for those exact same reasons so the business can grow with you and you can knock that stuff out. And make sure that, again, that everything is running smoothly and that you can profit as much as you can and grow your business as much as possible. So.
Because you're going to be mega millionaires.
We're all going to be mega millionaires. Kansas City, just a city of mega millionaire filmmakers.
That are retired.
At 30.
Are you still a filmmaker at that point?
Ooh.
That's an existential crisis.
Well, I know that if I make that much money, that no one will ever hear from me ever again. So I don't really care what.
Except for me, because you're going to keep me along.
Well, of course.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Of course, we'll bring you.
And our chef.
Yeah, we'll give you a yacht. It'll be fine. You can be in our fleet. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, I think that we covered.
Yeah. So you can, if anybody does want to come talk to me, they can book a discovery meeting on our website, and then they can just reference this podcast in the referral.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, unless they know you personally and they want to name you. And then I'll immediately kick you out.
I'm like, oh, sorry, you don't make the cut. What is your website?
You want me to say the words now?
Yeah, just say it on
So,
air.
It's not the sexiest website. I've learned this after we did it. It was not ideal. Website is called www.midwestbkpg.com. So it looks like Midwest Bookkeeping.
Perfect.
I told you it's terrible.
It's okay.
It's going to change.
It gets you to where it goes. Yeah, I mean, I know you're going to go through a rewrite and some other stuff too.
But we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in the notes. We'll put a link in there so people can get to you because it's very important, and this is the time to do it because do not wait until April 13th to do this stuff.
Well, you can.
Well, you can, but don't.
You can, but it's not going to get done by the 15th.
Yeah, just get it done as soon as you can.
That's a summer project is what I call those in the office.
Yeah, no, get it done.
It does keep me busy through the summer.
Gives you something to do.
Gives me something to do. Not that I don't have, other things, but...
Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now, get it done early. I've done both ways. I've done it getting it done early and getting it done late, and it sucks when you do it late. So just get it done early. It'll be great.
And the earlier you know, the easier it is to plan.
Right.
To budget.
It can also help you forecast for the following year. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't want to wait too long because then you're going to hit like, oh, shoot, I didn't think I had to save that much. And then all of a sudden... Now you do, and you got a shorter window of time to get it done. All right, well, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, talking all about taxes. It's a very important one. Like I said, the link is going to be in the bio or the description, whatever the word is. I don't know.
Show notes.
Go hang out in the show notes. Go hang out with Melissa over at Midwest Bookkeeping, and make sure you stay out of prison. So until next time, guys, farewell.